Lori Lightfoot, elected Chicago mayor, will be the first black woman and first openly gay person to hold post. Lori Lightfoot and Toni Preckwinkle had the first two spots in February's election that saw a historic 14 candidates for mayor leading to the runoff. Now, this is the woman right here. And it's sad that she just can't be the first black woman, but she has to be the first openly gay black woman to run for mayor. She had no prior experience and never ran for any political office. She was assistant to the U.S. Attorney, and now she's mayor over one of the largest cities in America. Not just one of the largest cities in America, but one of the largest violent cities in America. And I also find this interesting that this is right after Jussie Smollett had 16 felony charges dropped. Oh, and he is openly gay as well. Now, I'm going to read a portion of this article, and I'm going to give my 2 cents on what I think that's going on and what I see that's happening. Former federal prosecutor Lori Lightfoot defeated Toni Preckwinkle in a runoff for Chicago mayor Tuesday. She will be the first openly gay person and first black woman to lead the city. The Associated Press called the race for Lightfoot shortly before 8 p.m. local time. With over 90% of precincts in, Lightfoot led Preckwinkle 73.7% to 26.3% according to the Chicago Board of Elections website. Lightfoot pumped her fist in the air and the crowd cheered when she said, "Thank you, Chicago." In this election, Toni and I were competitors, but our differences are nothing compared to what we can achieve together, Lightfoot said. Now that it's over, I know we will work together for the city that we both love. Today, you did more than make history, Lightfoot said. You created a movement for change. Now, this sounds like Barack Obama. And I would not doubt if Barack Obama or Michelle Obama has got their hands in this agenda. Now, I want you to pay close attention, and I'm not going to read anymore. I'm going to put the link on the bottom, and you guys can check that out for yourself. But I want you to pay close attention to this photo that you see up. You see nothing but white people out there that's cheering and praising and holding up signs for Lightfoot. You have one guy right here in particular that's holding up the Baphomet sign. Whether he realized or whether he's aware of what he do or not, he's holding up a demonic sign. Now, don't just call me a conspiracy theorist. Prove me wrong. Is this guy aware of what he's doing? That's a Baphomet sign. That's a demonic agenda. Now, I made a video in the past that talked about torturing and burning America. You know how in mob days, and you have people that's not attached to mafia. They own a business. The business is now not producing like they would like it to, or they just want to get out of the business. So what they do is they torch it and they burn it for insurance purposes, to make it look like an arson. So that's what's happening with America. Now, if you look at what's been happening lately, there's a lot of so-called black people that's now in position of power. And I spoke briefly on this in my last video regarding conspiracy theories. We have the first black president, Barack Obama. After that, black people start getting into certain positions. And then we had the situation with Jussie Smollett and how 16 felony charges were dropped, all with the help of Michelle Obama and other black leaders that's in position of power. So now we have in Atlanta, where even in the justice system, that there are many black women judges. And I also spoke on this in the past. So there's more black people, and it's a good thing. It sounds good. It sounds positive. It's letting black people know that you can do anything that you put your heart and mind to it if you work hard. But let's not forget that according to history, if you look at places where black people were in control or in power, it was destroyed. Look at the average so-called black community. Look at Detroit. Look at Chicago. Look at places where black people are in position of authority, where it's black run. It's the ghetto. So now that more black people are in position of power in politics, in Congress, running as mayor, attorney general, watch this country sink to the bottom. And I know there's people that's not gonna like what I say, but anytime black people are running things, it's doomed to be destroyed. And this is not the typical everyday white person, but this is the system's way, the unseen hand. This is their way of torturing and burning America, putting people that don't have any prior experience in positioning to run things. And the big bankers, or what people refer to as the Illuminati, sit back and watch things happen. As a matter of fact, we hear cases where George Soros is funding a lot of this madness that's going on. If you are an alpha male, you now become the minority because you are considered toxic to this environment. Women are protected. Gays are protected. Transgenders are protected. Illegal immigrants are protected. Legal immigrants are protected. But men are attacked and made to look like the enemy. So there's a much bigger agenda. It looks good on the outside, but again, we're living in a climate where you have all of these, look at the expression on these people's face. Just look at it. And like I said, this dude is holding up a Baphomet sign. There's an agenda that's at play. Look at the much bigger picture of what's going on. So now they're happy that an openly gay black woman that had no experience. There used to be a time where white people would question, what type of experience do you have? What are you bringing to the table? How are you going to better the communities? How are you going to better this city? But now they don't care. The average everyday person. You take Cortez. She was a waitress or a bartender. I think I read somewhere. And now she's in Congress making stupid decisions. This so-called Green Deal that the Democrats are pumping. Look at the nonsense that's taking place. Now, I'm starting to hear a lot of black people now complaining about transgenders using women's bathrooms and competing in women's sporting races or whatever, and they're defeating these women. So now you got a lot of women that's complaining, saying it's not fair, but you allowed your emotions to get in the way and you protest, and you was pumping your fist in the air saying let them in and give them rights. Now that they have rights, you now have a problem with that, but this is what you asked for. See, now they're cheering. So I'm just waiting for the day where you see all of this happiness disappears. When this female get in position and she start working, Chicago is doomed for destruction if they don't get her out of office. I'm going to read a little bit more. Lori Lightfoot supporters react as she is projected Chicago's next mayor at an election night party. And then this last part says, Lightfoot, 56, who was an assistant U.S. attorney before she entered private practice, has never held elective office before. The runoff election was bound to be historic. See, they keep throwing that word historic around. Since Barack Obama, it's been historic. Everything now is historic. Forget about the fact that this person have no experience. Now, you have people that may say, well, Donald Trump wasn't a politician. He had no experience. No, he didn't, but he was a businessman. And he's now running this country as a business, which it is. And he's doing quite well running this country as a business. So with Donald Trump being a billionaire businessman, and he's actually sat and held debates and whatever, making deals or whatever he does, he did quite well, and that's why they can't find nothing on him. I'm sure that if there was something out there that Donald Trump was doing wrong, they would have already found it, and they would have already exposed it with the leak of information nowadays, and with the number of people that hate President Trump. But now we have everything being historic, whether or not you have experience or not. You could take a crackhead right off the street, a child molester, and they'll win an election. They say, oh, this is historic. The first openly, pedophile, the first openly crackhead is now mayor over New York City, right? And you're going to have people cheering and praising that person, holding up the Baphomet sign, until that person gets into office and changes that they didn't expect start taking place. It says the runoff election was bound to be historic, as either of the two candidates was going to be Chicago's first black female mayor. The city is around 33% black according to 2010 census data. Preckwinkle, that name is crazy, told supporters Tuesday evening that she called Lightfoot to congratulate her. Lightfoot and Preckwinkle, two black females. Preckwinkle and Lightfoot. This may not be the outcome we wanted, but while I may be disappointed, I'm not disheartened, she said. For one thing, this is clearly a historic night. Not long ago, two African American women vying for this position would have been unthinkable. Lightfoot came in first in the February election that saw a record 14 candidates vying to succeed Mayor Rahm Emanuel, who did not seek re-election. Preckwinkle, 72, a former school teacher who served on the Chicago City Council for 19 years before becoming Cook County Board President in 2011, came in second in the February race, garnering 16.1% of the vote to Lightfoot's 17.5%. I'm gonna stop right there. It's a quite lengthy article, and I'm gonna post it on the bottom, and you guys can check it out for yourself. But this is mind-blowing to me. Maybe I should run for elected office. Because I have no political experience. So maybe I might do good as a mayor or maybe president. What do you think? Think I should run for president? Would you guys vote for me if I ran for president? Right? Because it seems like anybody can do it. Anybody can run for office, and folks are going to vote them right into office, man. Because now people are not thinkers, they're emotional. They operate on emotions. And that's why a lot of these non-experienced people are now in political offices that's destroying this country. And that's what the big bankers want. America to be torched and burned. That's why they want the borders open. I mean, this nonsense is uncalled for. Open the borders, let them in, let's take care of everybody. You want something to eat, we'll feed you. We give you health care. Although there's over $1 trillion deficit. So many $1 trillion deficit. But yet we still want to bring you guys in here. Forget about our kids. You know, it's abort them. Pass laws to abort our kids. You know, sexually assault our kids. You know, our kids are coming up missing. You know, we don't care nothing about them. They getting run over by cars. You know, let's just bring in the illegal immigrants to take care of their kids. Let's raise money for these illegal immigrants because Trump is separating them at the border. This nonsense is uncalled for. Oh, and if you call this man a he, that's how he was born, and you was conditioned, you was brought up to believe that's a man, so you call him he. But if you don't call him she, then yeah, we're gonna sue now. You know, all of this nonsense is taking place, and the legal system is backing it. You now have, and I'm gonna shut up, but you now have a Muslim terrorist that's in Congress talking about releasing the leader of the Muslim Brotherhood. And I posted an article on my WordPress site, and I might do a video about that, but you can check that article out, man. But just a lot of nonsense is happening, and people are cheering, and they're happy. And they want to create their own, these baby boomers. And you know what? This was predicted. This was predicted a long time ago of what the baby boomers, how the baby boomers are going to destroy this nation. The baby boomers are doing this. And they think they're smart. They think they know what they're doing. They're operating on ignorance and emotions. And they're torching this country for the big bankers, or those they call the Illuminati, the unseen hand. The unseen hand is just sitting back watching. Just let them do. I saw an episode of The Twilight Zone. We had these aliens that were, I guess they were on a mountain somewhere. They were just sitting down looking at, Earthlings. And what they did was they started doing little things like playing with the lights, give one person lights, take away everybody else's lights, or a person's car don't start, but then this other person's car starts, and then they start fighting among themselves. And so the aliens were just sitting down looking at them, just amazed at how easy it was for the Earthlings to be manipulated. How they were being controlled by just very simple things. Like one person's car is able to start and the other one's not. So now they all start thinking, they start pointing fingers at each other. So that's what I see happening now. All I see happening now is America's being torched and burned. The Bible prophesies about Babylon the Great is going to fall. And there's no doubt that this is the method that's being used to destroy Babylon the Great, to bring America down. And for you people out there that's praising and saying like, oh yeah, this place is going to be destroyed, this nation is going to be destroyed. Well, you're in this nation too. So that means you're rooting and praising for your own destruction and demise. And that doesn't make sense to me at all. It does not make any sense to me. I can understand if you're sitting there hoping that the destruction of this system is destroyed. But to wish destruction upon a place in which you and your family live is insane. That's like suicide mission to me. Right? But this image right here, it speaks volumes, man. Look at the face of these people, man. Look at them. Look at them. And he's holding up the demonic sign. When have you ever heard such nonsense as this? So now, black people are put in a position, they're being used now to destroy this nation. Black people are being used to destroy this nation. I don't hear nobody talking about the water problem that's in Michigan. Michigan still have a water problem. And with all these black politicians now that's in position of power, that's never been politicians before, now you're in a position to make change. But instead you become even more corrupt than those that were before you. But again, it's all a part of the agenda. Babylon the Great will fall. So I'm going to put the article in the bottom. You guys feedback and tell me what you think. Till next time. I'm fearless.